Hi, and welcome back to the Modern Hippie Girl podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today is a special podcast. We are going to talk about fertility. I think most people would be like, well, wait, we're going to talk about fertility. Like, I thought you did stuff for like hormones and weight loss and things like that. So why are we talking about fertility? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Fertility is being affected right now because of our stress, our food supply, our blood sugar, our gut health, our sleep, and our nervous system. So, yeah, it has a lot to do with what my program's all about. If you guys don't know, I also suffered from infertility. I had PCOS and my periods were a mess, never on time. I never ovulated. My husband and I were together for 8 years before we got pregnant. When we were together, we really enjoyed our lives together. We had 3 dogs and it was just us. And, we saw that we weren't getting pregnant. So we had a big discussion about whether or not that we would take the extra step and use a fertility doctor in order to get pregnant. But like I said, we really did enjoy our life. We really did love our life. And so we decided just to take the natural route and see if it happened on its own. And if it didn't, it didn't. And we were okay with that because we really were content with our lives. But then when I was 39, I turned to my husband and I said, are we really okay with not having kids? Because I'm going to be 40 and that clock is a ticking. So if we're really okay with it, then we're okay with it. But if we are not, now's the time that we need to pull the trigger and like do something about it. And, we had talked about it a lot. My husband always notoriously said, I don't think I'm going to be a good dad, which is so funny because he's like the best dad on the planet. I don't think I'm going to be a good dad. I don't know what would make me a good dad. I think that we're fine. I don't think we need to have kids. Like if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm completely okay with it. The conversations just kind of ended there. And then when I brought it up again, I was like, yeah, but are we really, really, really not okay? Because this is it. Like I know people are having babies like later and later and later in life and all that stuff. But I'm saying like the amount of eggs I have left and their quality is really diminishing as we're speaking. So are we really not going to do this? He said, I would like a little shea bay around. I think that would be like the best thing ever. And so I was like, okay, well, I don't want to do this unless you're 110% in, because I do not want to be one of those couples, and no judgment on anybody that's going through this, but I don't want to be one of those couples where the husband doesn't help with changing diapers or watching their kids. And if you watch your kids, it's babysitting your own kids and all that stuff. I'm like, I want somebody who's in it. Like there is no separation between us. We are both parents. These are both our kids. We're all in, I knew my husband was going to be a good dad because the way he loved me, the way he loves me, the way he treats me, the way he makes me feel special, and the way he makes me feel like a princess and like the most beautiful person on the planet. I knew that if I could give a child just a portion of that love, that there was no way that he could ever not be a great dad. Like I knew he was going to be a great dad. So he's like, no, I'm in. I'm like all in, I'm scared. I'm really, really scared, but I know that we are a good team. I know that we will do our best and I think we'll be fine. And so we started working with a fertility doctor, and it took about a year of having the test done and then having to do the blood draws and then having to do the dye test and then having to take the pills and having to get, my ovulation on track and increasing my egg count. And like, it was a lot. And if you are listening and you are in the fertility into like world and you went through this, you know what I'm talking about. It's a lot. But we wanted to start by doing an IUI. And I think by the time we got to the point where we did an IUI, I was just exhausted. I had gained like 30 pounds. I was so stressed out. I was like, maybe this isn't for us. Like, this is just taking a toll. Like, this is too much. We did an IUI. I got pregnant. And then they call it a, was it tubular pregnancy? And lost the baby like 2 or 3 weeks into being pregnant. At that point, I was like, you know what? We tried. Like, it's been a year. I'm exhausted. You're exhausted. We've spent so much money. We haven't even done IVF yet. I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, we love our lives. We're perfectly content. Like, let's just move on. And he's like, okay, yeah, if that's what you want to do, like, that's what we'll do. And so I was sad, of course, and I was frustrated and like, feeling down on everything. So we decided to book a trip to where? Disneyland, of course, to Disney World. And we booked it for, I think it was like a month later. And we were about to leave to go to Florida. And I'm like, I don't feel good. I feel really tired. I just feel nauseous. Like, I don't feel good. I think I'm getting sick. And I'm going to be so mad if I'm getting sick before we're going on a week-long trip to Disney World and I am like miserable in bed. So I was talking to my girlfriend and she was like, maybe you're pregnant. And I'm like, what? No. Like, we've been together for 8 years. I've never gotten pregnant, so why now? B, I just had a miscarriage, so it's not like I was just hopping into the sack right after I had a miscarriage. Like, no, it's not happening. Like, it's not happening. I'm not pregnant. She's like, well, I think you should take a test just to be safe. Then at least you know that you're not pregnant and that maybe you are sick and you can take something or whatever. So I took a pregnancy test and lo and behold, 2 seconds in, it was freaking positive. And I'm like, no, this has got to be residual from having a miscarriage. Like, is that possible? Well, when I had a miscarriage, I'm sorry I'm talking about this so flippantly. I'm not trying to, but I processed it. But when I had a miscarriage, they have you come in and do HCG tests to make sure that your levels are low so that you can like guarantee that you're not pregnant anymore. And so I did, and the blood test said my levels were back to normal. So obviously I wasn't pregnant. They would have been way higher at that point. And so I was like, I don't believe this. Like, there's no way that I got pregnant on my own after all of this. So we had to be at the airport at like 6 a.m. And I called my doctor on the way to the airport and told her what happened. And she's like, okay, when you land, can you go to the clinic and have your blood drawn? And we will do your HCG levels and see what they say. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's the first thing I want to do when I get on vacation is find a clinic and go get my blood drawn. But yeah, okay, let's go do it. So found a clinic, literally get off the plane, didn't even go to the hotel, found the clinic, went to the clinic, had my blood drawn, got to the hotel, unpacked, did all of our stuff. We had tickets to go to Disney World that day. Was at Disney World and I get a call from my doctor and she's like, congratulations, you are very pregnant. And I'm like, what does that even mean? I'm very pregnant. Like, is it twins? Like, what are you talking about? Like, how can I be very pregnant already? She's like, I can't tell you, but I'm going to say you're at least 6 weeks along. Okay. some math ain't math in here because I had a miscarriage 6 weeks ago. And like I said, I wasn't just jumping right into the sack after I had a miscarriage. So how can I already be pregnant again? And she's like, well, I'm just going based off the HCG numbers. And that's usually the numbers that we see when you are about 6 weeks pregnant, like 5 or 6 weeks pregnant. And I'm like, wow. She's like, so I would like you to come in once you get back from your trip and we will, see what's what. Well, I felt like crap the whole entire trip. So tired. I made my husband go back to the hotel with me like every day in the middle of the day so I could take like a 2 or 3 hour nap. I was exhausted. I couldn't function. I've never been so tired in my entire life. I think you guys know if you're listening and you've been pregnant, the first trimester is no fun zone. Yeah, ended up getting pregnant on my own. So I understand the fertility journey. It is crazy. But these are some things that I have learned since being in this world. And things that I wish I would have known when I was struggling to get pregnant so that it could have helped me along. Obviously, there are doctors right now that are fertility specialists that are helping women get pregnant every day. Our infertility rate is through the roof right now. But they're missing a piece of it, just like when you go to a Western medicine doctor and they don't know how to address nutrition to help you heal your body. The same thing goes for fertility. We need to address a lot of different things so that when you're getting the help from your fertility doctor and you're able to do things to support yourself on your own, they can come together and you can have a better outcome. Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired? The Modern Hippie Girl Reset is a 3-phase holistic wellness program designed to help women reconnect with their bodies and create real, lasting health from the inside out. In this program, you'll get precise meal plans, hormone and gut healing protocols, stress management tools, blood sugar balancing tips, and an extensive holistic health education to help you keep your results for life. Plus, there's optional personalized coaching to support you every step of the way. If you've been feeling off, overwhelmed, or stuck, this is how we'll get back to feeling like your best self again. Check out all of our programs at modernhippiegirlwellness.com. First thing is balancing your hormones. So if you are somebody who knows that they are going to try to get pregnant in the near future, you should do something like my program to get your hormones in balance, especially if you've been on birth control for a long time, and especially if you have high cortisol, okay? Because that means that your stress hormones are through the roof. And like I said in my stress video and my gut health video, if your stress is through the roof, it shuts off your reproductive system, because why would you make a baby if it thinks you're running from a tiger because you're about to die? Okay, so we need to get your nervous system under control. 2, your gut health is so vitally important to be on point before you have a baby, because if you listen to my gut health episode, our microbiome is not only determined by our vaginal birth, but 3 generations before that. So our gut microbiome was determined by our great-great-grandmother. So if you are somebody who struggles with gut health issues, getting your gut on point right now is just going to help you not only to give your child a better outcome of what their gut microbiome is going to be, but it's going to help your children's children's children and their journey. And you can teach them how important it is for them to be on point with their gut, and so on and so forth. Okay. And we can change the trajectory of this generational gut health problem that we have by doing something now. Men especially need to get their gut health on check. Okay. Men's gut health is a huge determining factor of their sperm count and their ability to have a successful pregnancy, get somebody pregnant. The other huge portion of helping you if you are struggling with fertility is your blood sugar. The core of PCOS, and not saying everybody that's infertile has PCOS, but Infertility is a portion of PCOS, and obviously, if you're struggling with infertility, all this is going to apply. Having your blood sugar on point is just going to help you ovulate correctly at the right times, have your periods at the right times, get your reproductive system ready. And I would say that if you are planning to have a child, that you should be planning on starting this, all of these things that we're talking about today, at least 90 days before you're going to start having a baby. At least 90 days, if not longer. The faster you start the journey, the better your outcome is going to be. If you are somebody who's in chronic fight or flight mode, you need to be tracking your cortisol. There are strips that you can take that tell you what your fertility is like, where your cortisol is, how you're ovulating, all of that stuff. And I think that those things are used now. But if you don't know how to fix the numbers, and you don't know how to actually change the numbers when you're getting those readings that's saying that you're not ovulating, that are saying that you're in fight or flight mode, that's saying that you have high cortisol, then what's the point? Thank you for telling me that I have a problem, but unless you're going to tell me how to fix it, there's nothing that's going to change, right? So getting the stress monitor app is going to be highly, highly beneficial for you if you're trying to get pregnant and you have high cortisol, because you need to get your nervous system under control. If you do not have an Apple Watch, do the PulseBit app. You can do it on Apple, you can do it on Android, but those you'll have to do manually. You can listen to my stress video, my stress episode, I talk all about that. But I'm telling you, you need to get your stress under control. The majority of women who are infertile have high cortisol and have a problem with their nervous system. Okay. Really, really, really focus on working with your vagus nerve and getting your vagus nerve stimulated. Talk about that in the stress episode as well. But the more that you can do to regulate your nervous system so that you can regulate your gut, so you can regulate your blood sugar, so you regulate your sleep, the better your chances are of not only getting pregnant, but having a better pregnancy. Because we see oftentimes that women come in and they have high blood pressure, they have a lot of morning sickness, they have, and oh my gosh, before I even forget to mention this, ladies, being pregnant is not a hall pass to eat whatever you want. Okay? I know that that's the way that we used to talk about it a while ago, but the cleaner you can eat and the better you can eat, especially with the rates of ADHD and autism are right now, the better you have an outcome of the health of your child. I'm not blaming anybody's diet on their child having ADHD or autism. It's not that cut and dry. There's a lot of factors, genetics, so many different things. It's only going to help you that much more if you're eating clean. If you are paying attention to what's going in your body, you're making sure you're getting enough protein, you're making sure you're getting enough caloric intake, you're making sure that you're not just eating a lot of sugary foods because that's what you're craving. Because the more sugary foods that you eat, the higher the percentages that your child is going to have type 2 diabetes. Because they were getting a lot of sugar while they were in the womb, and that gives them a taste for sugar, so that when they're growing up in adolescence, they are going to crave more sugar, which obviously the more sugar we eat, the closer we are to getting type 2 diabetes. And this is why children are getting type 2 diabetes earlier. There are so many kids on the transplant list for a liver transplant because they have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And we get that because of our eating habits. Okay, they're drinking soda, they're eating sugary foods, they're eating processed foods, they're eating fatty foods. Our choices have such a profound impact on everything else that's going to happen. Okay, I remember, so I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant. I remember finding out that I had gestational diabetes in my third trimester of having my first son. And I was so pissed off. I was so upset. How is this even happening? I'm eating clean. I'm doing the right things. How is this possible? Like, what are you guys talking about? But I had pre-diabetes before I got pregnant because I didn't know to do all the things to get my blood sugar in check before I had my son. Had I made progress in getting my blood sugar in check and getting my A1C down, my probability of having gestational diabetes would have been a lot less. But again, this is based on our choices. And the more that we know, the better we do. So I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about the choices that we make and how things that we can do to make shifts can help us so much with fertility. Obviously, there's all the things that the doctors are going to tell you about, the things that you can take. That's not why I'm on here. You guys know that. You guys have doctors that are telling you what to increase in your body, what to take, all of that stuff. I'm telling you what to do internally to help your chances and the things that I wish I would have known before I started this whole journey, because nobody was out there talking about this stuff. Not one person. I wish they would have, because I was a health nut and I would have done these things, but nobody ever mentioned it. Why did my fertility doctor never once mention my stress, my blood sugar, my gut health? Hello, those are huge, huge factors in my infertility. They are the core. They are the reason I'm infertile. Why are we not talking about them? Like, this is insane. But there's a girl I went to school with, and she now specializes in helping couples holistically get pregnant. And the things that she focuses on are all the things that I just talked about right now. She's helping women get pregnant without even having to have to use a fertility doctor. Because again, if you are changing the things internally and you're doing all the right things, your body's automatically going to make the shifts to get to a better place so that you can naturally get pregnant without it. I'm not saying this is 100% guarantee, like everybody's going to have this happen, but her success rate for helping women get pregnant holistically is like through the roof. So I'll see if I can find her Instagram page and I'll link it below, but she's written a book. Like, she's got a million good tips and tricks to help women to get pregnant. And men are not off the hook. I will tell you this. Men are not the hook. They need to stop smoking weed. They need to stop drinking. They need to stop eating crap. They need to take care of their digestion. They really need to also take this seriously, because it's not just women. It's also men. Women should not have to feel the burden of infertility, because 9 times out of 10, it's both of you. And the men generally don't really do much to help this path. They might do a couple things, or maybe the doctor made them take something, or, whatever it is. But they usually aren't making the holistic health changes to change the trajectory of your infertility journey. And so men are not off the hook. I will say that. I think that was the majority of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. I hope that these things help. I hope that you guys are able to increase your chances of getting pregnant and to take your pregnancy journey from a stressed out one to a blissful one. I did not have a blissful pregnancy. Both of mine were really, really hard. And I wish I would have known these things before I got pregnant. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for hopping on. If somebody popped into your head, please share this episode with them. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe to my channel. I would love, 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 love that. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.